Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Borla Attack dual same side exit exhaust system with black chrome tips for 2014 to 2018 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s. If fantastic sound, great build quality, and cool looks are on your list for a new exhaust for your Silverado, then you're in luck, because this Borla Attack system is just what the mechanic ordered. Combining excellent build quality with cool stealthy looks and an awesome noise, this exhaust is going to be an excellent choice. Borla is well known in the enthusiast community for making some of the best exhausts you can buy, especially when it comes to the sound, and their Attack series is the loudest of the bunch. On our loudness meter, this one is going to go right at the top of the 5 out of 5. Definitely enough to make a big difference in the driving experience of your truck. Now, like you heard in the clips at the beginning of the video, you're gonna get that really deep, burbly, aggressive race car inspired note on the outside. Now, this one is also gonna give you quite a bit more volume versus stock inside the cabin as well. And Borla has some neat tricks up their sleeve to make sure it's all very pleasing sound and to eliminate drones, so this system goes beyond just being loud. So the Attack name here stands for Acoustically Tuned Applied Kinetics, which is a Borla exclusive technology that allows them to tune each exhaust for a specific vehicle application. They use what they call polyphonic harmonizing technology, which sounds like a buzzword, but that's exactly the point. There's no buzz here. This is essentially the same type of science that goes into tuning pipe organs. So they use different lengths of pipe to control different frequencies, thus eliminating obtrusive or dissonant sounds. In this system, they are inside of the muffler. Now, these trick bits utilize different sizes and diameters of piping, perforated tube-shaped cores, and different patterns within to make all the frequencies harmonized, so you get that really nice sound and the volume that you want with zero drone. Now, some exhausts sound really good, but they might have some pretty terrible drone, and that really negatively impacts the experience of driving the truck. I'm sure some of you have had some pretty drony exhausts in the past. I know I have, and they can certainly grate on your nerves even after a short while. They might sound great on the outside, but if there's a way to eliminate that drone, I'm sure most of us would go out of our way to do it. Now, as far as construction goes, again, this is a really high quality system. Borla makes all of their exhausts out of T304 stainless steel, so you're gonna get excellent corrosion and rust protection here. And as you can see, it's also just a beautiful looking piece of kit. The piping is all 3-inch mandrel bent tubing up to the muffler, including your inlet pipe, and 2¼ inch tubing after. So there's no wrinkles or creases or anything in the metal, and that means that you're gonna have really good exhaust flow all the way through, allowing the engine to breathe better than your stock system, and again, reduce that exhaust back pressure. Then, of course, we have the tips. Now, these are 4-inch dual wall black chrome tips, and no getting around it here, folks. They look great. I think these look really cool, and I love a good side exit exhaust. There's something about it that just looks right on these trucks. And the addition of the tips just makes it even that much better. Gives kind of a stealthy appearance to your truck, and I think they finish it off really nicely. Gives you a little bit of extra visual interest, but the sound is gonna be the thing that people will likely notice first. And that is not a bad thing. Now, pricing for this system will run you around $1,500, so it's not exactly what you'd describe as cheap. This is gonna put it towards the higher end of the category when it comes to price for exhaust for this gen of Silverado. But the quality and the sound here are more than worth it in my opinion. Now, if you're not looking to blow all your money on your exhaust, but you still want something that's gonna sound good and last you a long time, this is gonna be an excellent choice for your truck. When it comes to installation, we will rate this one a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you should plan on it taking you about 2 hours to install. Now, everything you need, including all new clamps and hardware, is included in the box, so you just need to bring your tools and your hands. Now, this system is gonna bolt in and use your stock exhaust hanger, so you don't need to modify anything on your truck either. This is definitely a job that you can accomplish at home in your garage or driveway. And to show you just what's involved, let's head over to the install bay right now. Tools required for this install: penetrating lubricant, a ratchet, 15mm socket, a 1/2 inch socket, an impact gun, and an exhaust hanger tool. Hey everybody, we're gonna be showing you how to install the exhaust on your 1418 Silverado 1500. But before we do that, we have to uninstall the stock exhaust. We've already done this on this truck, so we're gonna go ahead and show you a clip of how to do that. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
All right, so the first step in our install is to remove this clamp at the front of our exhaust. Make sure your truck is in the air and supported. You don't need a lift, but it does help. So go ahead and find that bolt. We're gonna remove it now. All right, grab your 13mm socket and we're gonna loosen this clamp right at the front of the exhaust. All right, now moving on to the hanger that's right behind the clamp that we took off. I'm going to remove it at the top here, just because it's a little easier to get the tool on. You can either take the top off or the bottom section. Make sure that the exhaust is supported when you're doing this because it will start to come down as you take the hangers off. All right, moving on to the center section that sits about over the axle. We're gonna remove the hangers on both sides. Using the same process, we're using a hanger tool, makes it super easy. You can just pry these off as well. And again, make sure that the exhaust is supported because we're removing the hangers, it will start to sag down and eventually drop. And finally, remove the hanger at the rear. This is the last thing holding your exhaust up, so be ready for it to come down. All right, so at this point we can remove our exhaust, and it is one piece, so it will take a little bit of finagling. I suggest you grab a friend for this step. What we're gonna do is go backwards, and we're gonna be twisting while we're lifting, so this front part can clear. All right, and then once it clears up front, you can go ahead and move it forward. Just have to finagle the exhaust over the axle a bit, and then you should be good to go.
All right, so the first step here to installing our Borla system is gonna be to put in the extension pipe. So this is gonna go flange side first, over top of the frame rail here, onto the back of your catalytic converter. And this prong should line up with the original exhaust hanger location. So you're just gonna slip that in. Once you got that in, you can go ahead and get this situated on the back of the catalytic converter. Now you are gonna need to retain the clamp that came off of here from the stock system. So if you took that off when you unbolted your stock system, you're gonna wanna put that back on. So our next step here is to get this clamp tightened up just a little bit. Now we're not gonna tighten this all the way or torque it to spec because we're gonna come back and make sure everything's aligned once we get the rest of the exhaust on. So we're gonna, again, retain this stock clamp from your stock system. This is a 1/2 inch bolt again. I would suggest holding up the back of the extension pipe, get it nice and even here. You're just gonna take your ratchet and kind of snug this down just a little bit, just so that it stays on there. It's not gonna pop off when we go to put the rest of it on. That should be good right there. So next we're gonna slip our muffler in, but before we do that, we're gonna take the larger of the 3 clamps that Borla provides in the kit and slide that onto the extension pipe. We're gonna use that in a minute. Next, we're gonna take the muffler section, we're gonna feed these 2 pipes up over the axle and get our hangers in back here. If you need a little extra assistance, you can slide that onto the extension pipe first. Also recommend maybe putting a little bit of lubricant on these if you don't have some on from uninstalling your stock exhaust. Even a little soap and water will make this go just a little bit easier. All right, now that we've got that on, we're gonna go back over here to our clamp. All right, so once we've got those hangers installed, we're gonna come back up here to where we have the pipes meet. We're gonna slide that clamp over, make sure it's over top of where the 2 pipes intersect. We're just gonna tighten this down a little bit. We're not gonna go all the way, just enough to make sure that it's not gonna fall out. Right there should be good for now, and then we'll move on to the end section. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and install the last section, the over axle section with the tips on it. First thing we're gonna do is take the 2 smaller clamps, we're gonna slide them over that back section of the muffler. And we're gonna take our pipe here, we're gonna go up and get these over top of the back end of that muffler section. This might be a little tight. Once you've got that done, you're gonna take these clamps, slide them back up here. And same deal as before, we're gonna take our ratchet, it's a 15mm nut on the back of that, and we're just gonna tighten these down a little bit before we do the alignment of the exhaust itself. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and tighten these clamps down. I'm gonna put my ratchet on it, but remember to torque these to spec. All right, and last but not least, we're gonna tighten this first clamp right off the cat. That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Borla Attack dual side exit exhaust with black chrome tips for 2014 to 2018 5.3 liter Silverado 1500s. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Silverado, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.